First, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. A shout out to Yakim that's out here on the four quarters of the earth, coming out and proclaiming this word, even though every day seems like Groundhog Day, because we're bringing it all out there, but for us it seems like Groundhog Day, even though to those that haven't heard, this is a new song. So, again, until we get into the kingdom, until the elect are sealed, this is going to seem like Groundhog Day, Does it look like we're living the same day in, day out? And it's been that way for quite a long time, as we've been lied to about everything, but we were in this, pretty much, we've been in the Truman Show for so long, being taught the same old lies, and it's like you think that everything's exciting, but it's not, You've been brought up on these philosophies that America is great, you can be all you can be, you can, just if you put your mind to it, you can achieve all your dreams, right? But what if you're one of those 99%ers, right? Because it seems to only be that way for the greedy 1%, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. They're the ones that have everything. They're the ones that have achieved everything, and it's been given to them. It's been handed to them. Technically, no, they went out and stole everything, just like Libya was independent from a Rothschild bank and all that. They stole Libya. They stole Iraq. And they've been trying and been stealing Syria, but only stealing it as ISIS, as these other terror groups that they arm and train, just like they did with Al-Qaeda in Libya. The same terrorists then made their move on Syria. So, because Syria is our brother, that's why this judgment is coming against them last, because here they are, they were our brother, and they conspired with Esau to put us into captivity. That we would no longer remember that we were the Hebrew Israelites. They know who we are. It's no secret, though, that, when Damascus falls, that's about the time that Edom's going to be brought down to its knees, and we'll get the kingdom. So I'm just going to read out of Isaiah chapter 17. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall become a ruinous heap. The cities of Aurora are forsaken. They shall be flocks, which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress shall also cease from Ephraim, and the kingdom from Damascus. And the remnant of Syria, they shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith Yahweh of hosts. So what's that talking about? Shall be as the glory. That means that the rest of the Syrians that were not killed in this are going into slavery under us, because it'll be our glory because of what they did when they conspired with Esau. That's why they're getting jacked up right now, is because they conspired with Esau, that we would not remember that we were the Israelites. But it also says the fortress shall cease from Ephraim. Well, what is Ephraim? Ephraim is the northern kingdom, right? Well, how do we know we're in this time? Well, think about it, though. The northern kingdom, Ephraim, we can look at it both formats. We can look at it as Puerto Rico's, where the main tribe of Ephraim actually is, and we know that fortress has ceased. They still ain't even got power there, They've gotten pretty well fucked up, We can look at it that way, or we can look at it as the tribe of Gad, Reuben, and Issachar, Manasseh, Ephraim. All of these places went into captivity under the same king of Babylon, America, because they had enslaved us, and so the fortress had ceased from us, we were dwelling safely over here until Christopher Columbus and his murderers came over and slaughtered each and every one of us and put us in slavery. And in that day it shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh shall wax lean. And that's what happened. Gad barely survived. Manasseh barely survived. Our tribes barely survived when the king of Assyria, right? No. But he is referred to in these chapters too, because you jump down to Isaiah chapter 19, talks about the king of Assyria, the Assyrian, which we know also as the king of Babylon, which is Esau, the so-called white man. Yet gleaning grapes shall be left in it, as the shaking of an olive tree, 2 or 3 berries in the top of the uppermost bough, 4 or 5 in the outmost fruit fruitful branches thereof, saith Yahweh of Israel. So again, a transference is about to happen. We say that quite a bit, but I'm going to get into this because it talks a little bit more about this, northern kingdom, Ephraim, and where they were at, its dwelling place. But now both the northern and southern kingdom being oppressed together in this place called America, Babylon the Great. But going to jump down to Isaiah chapter 18. Woe to the land shadowed with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. So, aka the eagle, that's another name of this place. America is that land shadowed with wings. That sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bushels upon the waters, saying, Go ye swift messengers to a nation scattered and appealed, for a people terrible from their beginning, hitherto a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. That's talking about America, Babylon the Great, and they had spoiled all these nations, and now the nations are getting tired of it. All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see ye when he lifted up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth a trumpet, hear ye. And that's what we're doing right now. We're calling our people to repentance, because this king of Babylon, Babylon the Great, America, is about to be destroyed. And you don't want to be caught in the judgments thereof. So we know that we're approaching another Sabbath, but to these Edomites, and a lot of our people, sadly, are going to be celebrating that wicked Queen of Heaven worship, aka the virgin birth, Mary, Easter, and it's just nothing more than a wicked festivity, and if you find out you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're not supposed to be celebrating that bullshit. So you're going to see a lot of us putting videos up on that just alone, and what are we to do? We're to eat of this. We're to eat of this word, eat of the meat and all that, Yes, it may seem like it's Groundhog Day to us that's been going out here teaching for a long time, or for us that's just coming into. It's like, I kind of spoke on that I kind of spoke on that this week. It almost seems like it's Groundhog Day, but not in a good way, right? It just kind of seems boring, right? Repetitive. But yet, we need to get that grain in there, It's like Apostle Tahar had just stated, though, we should be touching up on our Hebrew. Trying to learn this word in the Hebrew, trying to get more into the annotated Strong's Concordance, where we're looking at the Hebrew words and learning how to speak in Hebrew, because that's going to be our language. We ain't going to be speaking all these foreign languages anymore. We're not going to be speaking in other tongues. We're going to be speaking in one tongue, one concordance very soon here. So we should touch up on our Hebrew. That's another thing. And this word should be in us, That's why, you can't really say that you're a prophet if you don't have the word inside and out, but yet at the same time, though, you are to prophesy, that's how you reinforce the learning, and the idea, though, is to not falter, not get bored, even though it may seem that way, but we should be enjoying this, because this is a new song to us. I mean, how many years, decades, over 400 or 500 years now, stretch Christianity, that you're supposed to love everybody, that you're supposed to forgive that of whom has persecuted you, has attacked you. You're supposed to just forgive them, even in the bigger, more heinous crimes such as child molesters and rape and all these things. You're supposed to forgive them. You're supposed to forgive them for cutting off your ears and cutting off your noses and feeding your children to alligators, right? We're supposed to forgive this man? No, man, that's a lie. It's been a lie. Our enemy hates us. Yahweh hates our enemies. He hates every one of our enemies, so we've been taught wrongly, No, we aren't to love this man. We're supposed to hate him with a whole heart. We're also supposed to prophesy against him, and that's what we're doing now, We are condemning the so-called white man for every atrocity he has done, for the atrocities he's doing now in Syria and around the world. And he has been made bare in the valley of Yahweh's judgment, because that's what Jehoshaphat means, And he's going to gather his mountain of troops, which is what Armageddon means, to battle against the Most High himself, against the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be exciting, because the way we're going to be visited, and we're being visited, every day you're catching more and more UFO sightings and more You know, even the military, Air Force and all that is starting to see them and all that. They're showing up everywhere because the time is near. You know, and we know that we're approaching that time because we can see things clamping down. The police state is getting bigger and bigger. You know, as the March for Their Lies demonstration, you know, what's that going to bring? Gun control, government control, FEMA camps, FEMA roundup, you know, like the war on the homeless, you know. If you close up the bathrooms and you make it to where they can't go to the bathroom, where do you think they're going to go? You know? But, you know, that's just it, though, is, you know, they all talk about how much they hate the homeless and all that. And it's like, well, that's kind of funny because you're about to be homeless yourself. The greedy 1% have everything, and they're going to take it from you because that's how they got it to begin with. So we'll see how much you don't like them then, you know. And, you know, that's just it. You know, here in Redding, man, they just really hating on the homeless. And yet, that's 30% of the population, been 30% of the population almost the entire time Redding has existed, you know. But like everything else, though, you know, the laws and the police can fuck with them at any time for no reason whatsoever. And nobody gives a fuck, you know. Police brutality, yeah. You know, we don't get to make a tape, you know, and put it on CNN, you know, like the Rodney King thing, you know. Oh, man, you see them harassing. You can't do anything about it because they got a badge and a gun, you know. And it's like, you know, there's an actual protest going on right now in Sacramento, but that's not going to get a lot of coverage. Man who was shot, who had nothing to do with the robbery, because some goddamn Edomite called and said that that there was a robbery, and so they shot an innocent man 20 times, not just once or twice, 20 times, and he had nothing to do with it. Of course he was a Jake, but you know, they're not going to cover that, not like this March for Their Lies bullshit, and we know that the shooting is bullshit, we know that it didn't even happen, but then I've shown you drone footage. You know, we all see the drone footage of shit that goes on in Libya and Yemen and all these other fucking wars, you know, children being murdered, arms blown off, shit like that, you know, death all around. But I don't see any movement to try to ban the military, try to ban, you know, say, get the people out of Yemen. What are we doing funding these Saudi terrorists? Why is the Saudi prince around here getting free, you know, looks? Because these are Edomites. They're the worst of the worst. Because they're the terrorists. ISIS is nothing more than American created. The same as Al-Qaeda, the same as all these other terror groups. They're the ones that are causing everything. And best believe, though, they're going to keep setting off more and more false flags, more and more fake shootings. So that way they can round you up. All they have to do is set off an event like they did in Austin and open up the FEMA camps, and those people never come back. Whole community told to go to the FEMA camp because that's what they were. They're just not saying the word, but we know that those are FEMA camps. Same thing with the Walmarts, you know, and now you get down to the Walmart only. Kmart is no longer here, you know, so the only low-income store, you know, is going to be Walmart, you know. Yes, we still have Shopko and Target, but for how much longer? You know, they're getting to the Walmart only because Walmart is pretty much FEMA. They have a deal with Homeland Security. So I hope this has all been edifying as we're seeing a lot of things spark off. This being the year of prophecy, we're going to see a whole lot more. This is only getting to the beginning of April, only 4 months in. Shalom.